So with that, over to Marco to share your story on FlixBus.
Yeah, thanks, Domi, for the introduction. Hope you can hear me well. And also thank you guys for joining. Maybe before starting the two questions, like the two-round questions, so favorite app and Black Friday purchase. My favorite app is actually an app that is actually super old. I've been like in the game since a lot, and it's actually Shazam. And I noticed that I'm using it a lot. And if you guys don't know the story behind it, I suggest you to check it out in Wikipedia, because these guys have been around since '98 or '99, even before smartphones were invented. It's actually really interesting. And regarding the Black Friday purchase, I will go for an electric toothbrush, actually, since I promised it to my dentist. So, okay, these were actually the two questions before. We can get straight into it. Yeah, so thanks for the introduction about FlixBus. Maybe two words about myself. My name is Marco. I've been working for FlixBus for the past 3.5 years, and at the moment I cover the position of a growth marketing manager. I have, like most of you guys, a mobile marketing background, and also my current role is covering both mobile acquisition and mobile retention part. So FlixBus, for people that don't know, we are a mobility provider. We are on since 2013, and our objective is to change the way millions of people travel. We have also an app that you can see here in the slide, where you can do pretty much everything related to your trip. Search for it, book your ticket, store it, get also exclusive promotions, and so on and so forth. And as you can imagine, in relation to other companies that are present today, FlixBus is not one that immediately profited from the corona situation. Actually, on the contrary, lockdowns and also the other travel bans placed us in a situation that we never been before. So the challenges that we face this year are kind of unique and made us rethink the way on how we do our business. My job still a lot of connections with operative tasks. So what I wanted to show you today is not only these numbers, but also not only how the business changed, but also what are the solutions that we found in order to overcome the obstacles of 2020. So maybe still staying on this slide, I wanted to spend 2 words of what was happening before Corona. So actually, FlixBus was successfully expanding without stop into two directions. One direction was the markets. Basically, we were planning a lot of new market expansions. Also, we wanted to consolidate our presence in the United States and also in Europe. And the other direction were the products, like Domi mentioned, so more train, our train product, and our car product, so FlixTrain and FlixCar. Unfortunately, Corona came, and we had to stop, actually in the beginning of March, our first bus line. And this went on and on. I mean, you already know the story. So basically, we had to lower a bit our traffic, but luckily we had a summer break where our lines were back in action in most of the countries. Today, we had still some traffic decrease. For example, our bus networks in DACH and in France are also set on low traffic, and so on and so forth. So the whole thing that they want to bring is not that we had to turn off the business, but the problem was that we had to ramping up and ramping down in a kind of fast way. So our bus offer kind of goes along with the lockdowns. So in some countries, for example, there is no possibility to travel, so we had to reduce our network and our marketing activities. And in some other countries, we need to re-expand the network really fast, since maybe the government decided to reduce the measures. And like Deepa said before, I can use the same analogy. We were also on a treadmill, but at different speed. And also this was happening actually on a day-to-day basis. So for us, it was actually a lot of work because we had to re-shrink and readapt the business every time. Was actually day-to-day. And the second problem is that in order to do this, we actually needed a lot of workforce. The only problem is that most of the managers were set on short-time work. Therefore, was actually a double-faced problem. So what we needed was data-driven and fast actions. So this was probably the most challenging test that we ever faced. And yeah, in order to survive, we had to quickly adapt to every situation, like the slide says. So we kind of lived by this statement, and we applied it to two different cases. So first of all, we had to save costs and also time by avoiding to repeat the same task over and over. So the keyword here in order to do that is basically automation. So we had to automate the task that managers were doing every day and make them focus on something else, maybe more efficient. And second point on the right part of the slide is that all the time that we saved thanks to automation, will have to be dedicated to kickstart new business ideas in order to make our business survive. So maybe we can start with the first point. So how we basically automate our activities, how we save cost and time, that is shown in the next slide. And yeah, so basically, okay, this was a plan that beginning of the year, we were aiming to achieve in kind of 6 months. So it was like really nice and fancy in our roadmap. The thing is, when Corona came, we had to execute it in around 1 month. And this was like a bit a change of plan. So how does it work? Basically, our objective is that we wanted to connect what was happening outside our marketing activities to basically our campaigns. So if something would have changed outside, so like, for example, a new lockdown in one region, or maybe in one country it was possible to travel again, our mobile marketing campaigns were automatically adapting. So as I mentioned before, basically the number of our offer, the number of our buses on the street is changing according to all the travel permissions. But actually marketing was still kind of static. What do I mean by that? Is that every day managers had to check the offer, check the budget, conversion rate, and take a decision on campaigns and then adapting them. What we did here was basically building up a set of automations, and basically every change outside marketing was then triggering edits into our campaigns. So how does it work? Like the example, for example, shows like the bottom part. Let's say that, for example, Munich-Berlin, this trip was actually canceled, whereas in Portugal, it was possible to travel again. So what we have basically is a score that is for each of our relation, like for example, Munich-Berlin was changing according to the offer, and also according to other business KPIs, like for example, the conversion rate, the searches, the visits, and so on and so forth. And automatically, all the mobile marketing campaigns were changed. So for example, if in Portugal we were able to travel again, all the connections in Portugal, so all of our products were actually having a higher score. Therefore, the budget was increasing. And the same for Germany. So what is actually the advantage of all of this thing? Basically, if today is Friday and we receive the information that on Monday there is a lockdown, or on Tuesday, our mobile marketing strategy is automatically shrinking in the smartest way possible. Okay, in the next slide, we see the second part of the plan. So basically, now that we are automation, we gain kind of time. Where do we focus all of this? So basically, even if we have, okay, all of this fancy automation and everything, we still have 0 buses on the street. I mean, there are some parts of the world where we are not working. And so the objective is that we still have to make revenues, and we still have to stay in the customer mind. So in order to do that, we have to kickstart some business ideas. And here it's quickly how we are doing it. First, we had to reorganize our way to work. So thanks to automation, of course, we had more time. But in order to basically make it happen, we had to basically create small core teams, so task forces, with people coming from different teams in order to create special products and launch them in the market. So every task force had people coming from different departments, like business, marketing, the developers, and so on and so forth. This is, for example, this is my favorite example, actually. We were actually selling vouchers, discounted vouchers, kind of pay now, travel later. And how we did it is basically we set up this task force, and basically immediately we set the devs to create a page. As soon as we had the okay from legal, the CRM managers started creating the vouchers, deciding on like the percentages. Then, for example, like the UX managers started creating the tracking, and as soon as the page was live, they started optimizing it. The advantage of this is that once we decided on this idea, 20 days later, the product was already in the market with a website, a mobile marketing campaign ready for like around 20 million customers. I'm a big fan of this idea, for example. We had also others, not maybe of the idea itself, but on the way how this was executed. So let's say that these were 2 examples of how we approached Corona. So of course, I can say that the way that we had to scale down and ramp up, also the way that we had to coordinate between channels, the speed of thinking is something that we never experienced before, but kind of took us to the next level. and forced us to think about ourselves, like our true identity as a company. And Corona kind of brought us to overcame some boundaries. So yeah, 2020 of course has been super tough, but probably I can say that without this, we will not have made these steps in terms of development. So yeah, that was it. I hope that the examples and the story was interesting for you guys. And yeah, if you have any questions, just feel free to drop them in the chat.
A huge thank Marco. Really, really impressive story. Particularly, I find pretty interesting, exciting here is obviously a difficult situation, but actually you went through it with a lot of innovation. Kind of the automation example that you used. I mean, automation often sounds simple, but doing this for more than 2,000 destinations on a daily, hourly basis, this is pretty impressive. But also the example that you shared, really building up a new business line within 20 days. Well done. So huge congrats on that.